Gaming booth, internet personality Gonzaki. There are minions here. Minions, name call.
We're starting this again. Sweet Eddie Phoenix.
Bulbasac.
Felicity Ryan. Yay.
Was that the Sega theme you were trying to get?
No.
No, I was talking to Bulba. He was like,
um,
Bulbasac.
well, because it's going to make me cry later, I had to get in a hopeful one. And wait,
Bulba.
Felicity Ryan is now a minion?
I don't know.
One of us. One of
One of
us.
us.
One of
Gooble
Of
us.
us.
gobble. Gooble gobble.
So, yeah, Jen, I hear that your cloning machine is now fixed.
Possibly.
Possibly.
It apparently isn't fixed appropriately if a clone popped out that, is female rather than male.
Well, that's why my
Yeah,
original. That's why
what
my
I
original
think
Like
fixed
happened
it.
Bulba,
is
you haven't been
Eddie's
on the
DNA
Minecraft.
got into Bulba's DNA, and this explains everything.
Oh my
Well,
god, I have two gay dads. Whee!
no. See, the
Anyway,
thing is,
no. What I was gonna say is, Bulba, you haven't been on the Minecraft server lately. But if you go into town hall, there's this wonderful office to the left that says "Evil Vice President of Evil, Vice Dictator of Evil, Felicity Ryan." So I've ascended from being just a minion temporarily, at least in Minecraft.
Oh, wait
Dun,
until you
dun.
see Morpher's room. It's very gaudy.
Oh
One wall
Lord.
is made of lapis lazuli. The other wall is gold. We got a wall of iron and a wall of diamond and a desk of obsidian.
Hey guys, welcome to my office.
Fabulous.
I do have an explanation of how this whole minion thing happened, but it would take a way longer podcast than we've got right now. So
Simple explanation: jerking off into the primordial ooze. Got it.
no.
Starting with the Wii U. So we've been noticing that, the launch window for the Wii U, we were supposed to get all of these awesome games, guys, and Zombie U. Um,
Freaking zombie
if
you.
you're going to be nice, I wouldn't, but everyone else will. New Super Mario Brothers U. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's about it from what I can tell. There's obviously Arkham Asylum, but it's already out on other consoles, so it doesn't count.
The only thing I can even counter argue there is that there are some of those, and very few some of those, who haven't played those games on those other consoles, who have just been, Nintendo exclusives people.
Nintendo fanboys.
Yes.
Well, there's one thing I think this has proven is that for a long time people would be like, "Oh, Nintendo could get away on its first-party software alone," and I think this proves that's wrong. They need third-party support just as much as Sony does, just as much as Microsoft does, and they haven't been getting it.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're,
we've
we're
got obviously Arkham Asylum, but they're just really running dry at the moment.
yeah, we are no longer in the days where two games only and two games only that are fabulous first party games can pretty much run a launch. It's not the N64 days no
Oh,
more.
what's it? Game Informer did a thing a while back. Before say 1997, every console that released had at least 3 to 5 good launch titles.
Oh, yeah. And when you've got
And what's it? Back in the time of the Atari, you had like 10 good launch titles.
when you have something that comes out that's brand new, like I'm gonna go ahead and I don't want to pre-talk it because I know I want to save it for a little bit. But when you start looking ahead to the next generation of consoles from Sony and Microsoft, if you're gonna have those come out, you can't bank on. Well, you can bank on the games later on because they're going to be a lot more refined, a lot more polished. But you can't have it to where you're waiting to get those games at the start. You have to have something great coming out of the gates.
You have to have something that will make gamers stand up and notice and say, "I want to get the system now." You don't have it, they will not.
That's the
Cannot.
Except for the
problem though,
fanboys.
because back in the day, you could get a game done in 3 months. It was pretty easy to do because they were small. They were designed to be difficult because they couldn't be long. You didn't have a lot of space to store them on. Now you've got games that take years to make on average, and I think that's the problem with the average launch is you can't have people making games while the console's being designed because you don't have a development kit for it yet because you don't have things. The idea of a launch window is becoming harder to sustain because when you buy a console at launch, that's the most expensive that console's ever going to be. And we don't have a lot of reason to early adopt anymore, especially considering like with the 360 and PS3, the backwards compatibility on those systems were ass even when they had them. I know that PS3 has since even ditched the backwards compatibility.
I think that's one of the things that kind of killed the PS3 for a lot of people is when they released at such a high price and they had the backwards compatibility. You had those big fans who would go out and buy it because, hey, it came with that nifty little thing. But when they gutted it and still kept it, they gutted the backwards compatibility and still kept it at that high of a price, that really turned a lot of people away because they were waiting for the price drop a little bit so they could get that. And then it's like, oh, you got it? Well, I'll just go to the Xbox 360 then, or I'll go to the Wii, or I'll go to my freaking handheld or something.
Yeah, speaking of launch title games, at least, let's try and get out what we're going to be seeing by summer. They're expecting to have out Xenoblade Chronicles, a game that they promised on the launch window. Obviously, it's not going to make it.
Xenoblade Chronicles was released on Wii.
You're thinking X.
Yeah,
their new Xenoblade game.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's called shortening. Get with the title. Like, what's it? Okay, let's not shorten this. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker remake instead of just saying Wind Waker. But yeah, we're getting that. We're getting a Wind Waker remake. We're getting a Yoshi game. I don't even know if they released a full name. I'm keeping this short because it's a Yoshi game.
It's Yoshi's
That's
Yarn.
what we're gonna call it. Yoshi game.
Yoshi's Yarn.
Wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be an epic yarn.
If they're
type game.
re-releasing Wind Waker, and I know this is going to potentially cause rage wherever this is posted, is it actually going to be good this time?
Well, I liked Wind Waker, so
I have loved every Legend of Zelda game ever except for Wind Waker.
I haven't played Wind Waker.
Because I remember right, Wind Waker is the one that has like the ditzy anime style. Like the little kid chibi anime style, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the one.
I hated it mainly because of the stupid anime style, because it was so different, and then like it didn't feel like a Zelda game to me.
Zelda fight coming.
I would actually differ from you on that. I thought it felt very much like a Zelda game. I like the style. The style actually ages gracefully, unlike some of the N64 titles. And it's really, for those who completionists, it's really kind of like how Majora's Mask was. If you don't like side quests, then it's going to be a short game for you. If you like side quests, there are plenty of side quests that keep you occupied and keep you interested.
So, anyone who was interested in Felicity just had their Dream Girl template crushed.
Well, no, it wasn't a bad game. Like the storyline and everything, it was great. I think it was really just the animation style that really it messed up the like whole feel of it to me. Like, because I've loved everything else, and later on, like newer versions of the game, I can see that they still have some of that style mixed in, but they changed it just enough that it's like, this fits right for me.
Yeah, the screenshots for the new Wind Waker looked interesting because I played about 5 seconds of it because I was forced to, and I looked at the water and I was just mesmerized by how bad the water was, even for that art style.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, he plays it on emulator.
Well, I don't know. I need to still get the GameCube version and check it, but I don't think it was an emulator problem based on screenshots I've seen of the Wii U version. I think it was just the way the game was, but I still need to fix it up. Anyway, we're also going to be seeing an upgraded version of the Wii's Virtual Console with fun extras for people who bought Virtual Console games on the Wii. So, look forward to that.
Yeah, but the thing is, with that,
you still have to pay extra.
you still have to pay just a little bit to get those extras. You have to pay like $1 and $1.50 to get the upgraded versions of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, we're also getting, with the virtual consoles, we're getting Game Boy Advance games that you're going to be able to play on the tablet.
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna play Mr. Moneybags here, but it's $1.
I know, but I'm just saying, you know, there are people who are going to go, a freaking dollar? I got to pay $1 for that? Herp, derp, derp, herp. That sort of thing.
Well,
I
they don't
think,
do things for free.
yeah.
They are a company.
Well, I think what people are looking at here is, you know, there's a way to transfer everything you had on the Wii over to the Wii U, and they have the games already on there, and you're basically forcing them to pay again for a game they've already paid for.
I
But
thought
they're
it
not.
was paying for the upgraded aspects of the game you already own.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's paying. You're paying for a game you already paid for.
No.
Well,
The only extra is you
if
can.
that is true, and
The only extra
I
is
have
you get to
not
pay.
seen anything
Yeah.
saying that is true, but if
Yeah.
that is true, keep playing the game on your Wii. You already own it on your Wii.
The only extra is that you can like play it on the tablet. There is a way you can actually play it for free, but you have to go through some menus and stuff to get to it.
Then there you go. But and the point I'm also going to make is there's this their term I wasn't even aware of yet, but yeah, this one definitely applies to the gaming industry. It's the term vaporware, where the idea of a game is or a piece of software is announced, but it takes forever to release or it never releases. And yeah, this is a lot of what the Wii U is relying on to get sales going because currently we're looking at announcements. We've got the Smash Brothers game, a new Mario Kart, a new Legend of Zelda, and a Super Mario Galaxy follow-up. That we're not going to see any or only one of those is going to be playable at E3, and that's the Galaxy follow-up. And they're saying that
Mario
these
Kart as
games
well.
probably won't even be available by Christmas this year.
Mario Kart's going to also be playable at E3, and I believe Smash might be. They said they were going to be showing the first screens of Smash. So
It won't be
what I
playable.
saw is they said they were going to be showing screenshots.
I doubt it will be playable this soon. There's no way it's playable.
well, they're going to be at least having the Mario Kart and the Super Mario 3D playable at E3 this year. What grabs me right now is they've got this huge mega lineup. They've already said, hey, we're going to be showing this at E3, we're going to be showing that at E3, we're going to be showing this and that at E3 as well. You've got all of this, and you haven't even shown what's possibly coming for your 3DS other than Pokemon X and Y.
Which is all they really need.
If you don't strike while the iron is freaking hot and start showing these hardcore titles to where it'll draw in your consumer, and you don't show them at E3 this year, you are sinking your own battleship. Because Microsoft and Sony are both going to be bringing their consoles to E3 this year.
Yeah, I've got to give that one to Eddie, actually.
Wait. I wouldn't say that yet, Eddie, because Sony just released, maybe Microsoft will bring theirs, but Sony just is in the process of releasing, because it's in pre-release status and you can pre-order it at certain retailers, a super slim white version of the PlayStation 3, like thinner than any version you've seen before, that is getting released in like 2 months. I doubt, since they're releasing that PlayStation will release a new console at E3, because they just came out with this newer model.
I don't know. Tactically speaking, I would think that they would have to do it because look at what happened to them in the last generation with the 360 and the PS3. They waited to get the PS3 out there. They waited to get the hype on it, and it got decimated by the 360.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing it had going for it was its absurd price tag that made it back a bit of money from the fanboys.
They can't afford to wait. Yes, they can. They're gonna put forward the slimmer model, but they will at least need to announce their new system. At least need to show us something. I'm not saying that's going to be released by the end of this year. That's not what I'm saying at all. Microsoft, maybe. Sony, no. But they have to announce something, or else they're dead in the water.
Because if anything, Microsoft proved in this generation that they can put out an inferior piece of hardware and still sell it on the quality of their games.
Yeah. And the thing is, also, they've also released something that was so shovelware and kiddie game heavy, and still make a ton off of it.
Yeah, that's actually the one thing I noted is I didn't see a lot of shovelware on PS3. Now maybe I wasn't looking because I didn't own one, but I saw a lot more of that going towards the 360 and the Wii. Anyway, Let's time. It's time to talk about Bioshock.
Yay!
Yeah, Felicity is favorite upcoming game. Now this one I like. I really like this news because Ken Levine, the designer they were talking to, said that they had altered religious content because he had a talk with someone who worked at the company who was offended by their portrayal of the religious content, and he, after talking to them, adjusted it but did not remove it, saying that he would never remove a piece of content that offended someone just because it offended them. But he said that the insights he gained allowed him to portray it in a different way. So, like, I really like this for two reasons. One, you shouldn't be afraid to offend people because you're going to offend people no matter what you do. And the second one is learning from a mistake you may have made. Like, there are a lot of people in the gaming scene who want to talk about religion without actually doing their research, without knowing exactly what they're talking about. And being able to look at someone else's point of view and adjust to it, that shows some stones.
And what I'm seeing here, just what I'm hearing about, being able to do what he's doing, not being able to defend people, and being able to say, you know what, we're not going to be afraid, and we're going to take and use this canvas, this gaming canvas, as a way to get a message across, to not only tell a story, but to basically propel and make people think, which is what I'm getting here. This is a real argument for video games as art right here, because it's doing what art is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here's my other thing about people that are getting offended by things in Bioshock specifically. The thing with the new Bioshock game is, if you read about it, the time that this happens is that Columbia, where it's based in, is supposed to be the remnants of what was supposed to be a floating city in the sky that was the traveling World's Fair. It would stop at places, and you get to experience the World's Fair in your own hometown, instead of like the fact that the Space Needle in Seattle, for example, was built for the World's Fair in Seattle and has been kept because it's a part of the skyline now. And there's all sorts of structures. If you look it up, don't want to go off on a whole historical rant about all the ones that are out there that
Eiffel
were
Tower.
built for the World's Fair. Yeah, well, Eiffel Tower is one of the major ones. I want to go see that one day when I'm rich. But instead of it being this city that, or this one thing that they're like, okay, we built all this, we're just going to only leave one thing up, so we're going to get rid of it. It was a floating city in the sky that traveled. The thing is that what I originally understood, and I'm not sure if they kept this, is that it was supposed to be a city that became lost, that they lost track of. But now, if you've seen the opening, they show the opening of it in a preview thing. I forget which it was on. I want to say it was on IGN. I'm not sure, though. It shows that there is one particular point where you have to get that it will launch you up into it and launch you up into Columbia. But obviously it starts moving after that if you've seen any other gameplay footage, because you can't just leave. And during the time that this was supposed to be built was a time in America particularly, which is what this was based around. It was supposed to be an ideological version of America. America was built, as much as some people don't want to think about it, on the standards of Christianity and religion. So having those symbols in there is a historically accurate fact. Mm-hmm. So when people get offended, I'm like, this is especially when they're here in the US, I'm kind of like, this is part of your history, technically. And they're working it into a video game, which makes me happy, being a woman who intends to one day, hopefully, maybe, potentially, have children, be like, hey, look, some video games are educational. Go play Bioshock. It's okay. Just go.
That and the
So-
game isn't about religion. From
It
what
isn't.
they've said, it's more of a story about patriotism. And religion
Yeah.
just plays a part in it because people are religious. It's like if you got offended by the religious content, then you're probably religious in the first place.
And
So
the
you
thing
should
about
understand
that,
that.
the thing about that is, okay, let's talk about some of the things that are in it. The Boys of Silence are blind and mute. The only sound that the reason why they need the cones on their heads is so that they can hear, and the only sound they can make is this terrible scream. And then there's the motorized patriots that look like George Washington that'll freaking destroy you. I mean, like, there's ridiculous things in there, and it's the whole thing that people are losing sight of what the story is supposed to be about. What I think more people should be questioning about this game is, what is this debt that Booker has that is so just completely destroying his life that he is willing to take a one sentence thing that and a box that has his name on it with a gun and a picture of Elizabeth that says, get the girl, erase the debt. So all he knows is he has to get Elizabeth and get out of Columbia, and his debts are gone. What and how is that so crippling that he's willing to risk everything to go there? That is what you should be worried about with this game, and that's what you should be thinking about going into this game, not, oh my God, this is going to offend the fact that I'm Catholic, or this is going to offend the fact that I'm Christian, or Jewish,
Maybe
or
they'll
Mormon,
actually,
or
maybe that's it.
whatever the
Maybe
heck you are.
maybe that's it. Maybe they show an actual abortion clip in the middle of a cutscene, and that a Catholic person got upset.
Oh God, Rush
And
Limbaugh
before-
will have a field day with that.
Before anyone
Rush
goes,
Limbaugh will have a field day with it just because it's a political game.
oh yeah,
True.
and it's the thing that people are going to get offended over everything, and it's like, I was raised Catholic. I chose to have my own beliefs, and I don't go to any church because I don't believe in organized religion because I think it's dumb. Hate me if you want. I have my own beliefs, though. That doesn't mean that anyone else has the right to say you can't believe that, or has the right to be like, I'm offended by your beliefs, so you have to take it out of this idea, or take it out of your videos, or take it out of your games. No, you go sit in your corner over there with the dunce cap on and leave me alone. Just give me my Xbox, give me my computer and my laptop, and shoot. Okay, thanks.
That's the one thing you can always look forward to in video games. They get people out of the way.
Yep.
All right, speaking about video games and getting people out of the way, hopefully this will get some people out of our lives. And it's our President Obama, has put aside money for studies into media and violence to see whether violent media affects violent behavior. Now, studies have been done on this before. We know it's bullshit, but invite the opportunity for these people to go through and get the president's seal on the recordings of this is bullshit. That way, when someone can come back and say, violent video games cause violence, you can throw the reports at them and go, no.
No,
Because that's the big thing here, is people are raging about this funding because they don't realize it's just all violent media. They're like, oh my God, the president's going after violent video games. He's not.
This is a chance. Sorry.
This is a chance for us to be part of the negotiations because we're going to be part of the study, or at least violent video game creators and other media creators are going to be a part of this. If you're not part of the discussion, then you can't be surprised when they make a decision you don't like. This is our chance to prove ourselves. So start fucking proving and start shutting up.
And here's the thing. Oh, sorry, Bulba, go ahead. You were talking before.
Basically, I was just going to say this is a chance for us as gamers to get vindication.
And for everyone that's sitting there and saying, oh, they're going to attack video games, they're going to make it worse, what they're doing is they're going after media. So this means books, newspapers, the actual news feeds of people showing the aftermath and bodies of people from bombings, from shootings, from, terrorism attacks, whatever you want to call what the media shows. Violent video games, violent movies, things like that, violent TV shows. That's what they're going after. They're going after everything to be like, okay, does this actually inspire someone to get violent? Is watching a marathon of Dexter chopping up bodies and wrapping them in saran wrap going to cause someone to mentally break down and decide it is a good idea?
Speaking as someone who has done that marathon, I have still yet to kill anyone.
Same here. I am still perfectly mentally sane, cheery, and happy, and I would terrify anyone that is probably hearing this in real life if you had to put up with me for more than 5 minutes. Because it's terrifying.
Oh God, she's actually smiling, and oh God, she's being cheery about it. Oh God, panic! She's gonna freaking flip out when you don't expect it.
I think this is the way I want to explain it. I have watched every Michael Bay game movie the man has ever put out. You can tell I'm a gamer because I think Michael Bay makes games. But I've seen every movie he's ever put out. And if the violence in those movies affected me in any way, I would have exploded already.
Yeah.
And a Michael Bay style explosion.
And it's like, and here's the thing though. If you go to a convention, and I really hope that they include this in part of their thing, because everyone talks about how, there's always these mobs of people at video game conventions, and it's really a security issue when it comes to things. Like, it happens every year right before PAX Prime. I live right across the water from Seattle. You should see how much of a police presence there is on, let's say, June 15th. Middle of June, nothing's going on, compared to the weekend that PAX is going on. It is terrifying how much it increases, because everyone's like, oh Lord, the gamers are going to kill someone. But it's like,
well, I don't think that they just think
happens?
the gamers are going to kill someone. It's also the possibility that someone would take the chance to set up an explosive in an area full of a lot of people to kill them. So I think that's just standard security when you have a lot of people around. 50-50,
because then you also have the people that stand outside with signs outside the convention center that are like, gaming is for Satan and he does it in order to make you just sloth-like people.
Here's what we need to do. We need to go to PAX Prime, but instead of actually going to the convention, we just need to stand with those protesters with signs pointing to them saying, God hates these people.
And here's the other thing. You know what happens at PAX Prime? Every time that I've gone, everyone gets massively sick. You know why? Because it's like, oh my God, you're the sweetest person in the world. Come here, give me a hug. I want a hug. I don't care. I don't care if I get pneumonia again. Give me a hug. I don't care. Because that's what happens. Especially if you run into me. If anyone comes up to me and we had a thing for the website that I write for, because I'm part of the senior staff. It was like, hey, if you find one of our senior staff members, you get a free t-shirt. And so everyone was searching for us. I was putting out things on Twitter saying, hey, here's a hint of where I am. Here's a picture of something I just saw, hoping someone found me. Anytime someone
runs
found
up,
me,
hugs you, you give them a free t-shirt, they run away and the shirt explodes. You monster.
No, they came up to me, they'd be like, oh my God, Felicity, I can't believe I get to meet you. This is the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, I didn't think I was Twitter famous, but apparently I am. This is sweet. And I'd give them a hug. Some of them got pictures with me. I don't know why. I kind of felt like a mini celebrity. It was kind of cool for about 2 seconds. And then they'd get a free t-shirt and be like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then, of course, there was the inevitable, hey, if I find you again in 2 minutes because I secretly stalk behind you, do I get another t-shirt? And I'm like, no. And they're like, damn.
Only if you're that forgettable. And then you meet Blandy McBland. He will get millions of t-shirts.
But yeah, it's like everybody that's like, oh my God, they're attacking video games. Calm down. You can go join the people that are yelling about Bioshock and the religious themes in the corner with the dunce caps.
And I would just like to add that there have been studies done, and it's actually, it's been disproven that all this violent media, whether it's video games, movies, whatever, does not cause violence. That actual exposure of violent events on the news, such as these school shootings, is actually more likely to cause copycats.
Exactly, but I don't want to go on a huge rant about that, but the reason that rings true to me is we never really talk about the victims. Like we'll show their pictures, we'll like have an interview with their parents, but the entire time we're talking about the killer. Don't mention the killer. Do not turn him into an anti-hero. Leave him to be forgotten, because that a lot of these people kill for attention.
Exactly.
Hey, Jin, you remember
Yes.
that radical opinion podcast idea that you had?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. I believe
So
it's knocking, going, let me in.
So here's to recall on that, to hopefully not offend anyone or hurt anyone's feelings, to bring up recently the Sandy Hook thing, which is what is inspiring all of this. I have a friend, and Eddie knows him, but I don't think he realizes it yet, on Twitter, who I've met, played games with. He's a sweetheart. One of his friends was Victoria Soto. If you do not know that name or anyone's name from that shooting, you've cared more about the killer and what he did than the victims and the teachers that saved lives. Because Victoria Soto was, I believe she's 27.
She was 27.
Or was 27.
Beautiful
And she
woman.
saved her entire classroom from being killed by putting herself in the way and hiding her children in closets and cupboards. And I remember her. I don't remember the shooter's name. I'll be honest. I know his last name's Lanza. That's it. Don't care about anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one of the big problem is we're talking about this. Let's move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on. Now on to
Looking for a scapegoat.
Now on to sadness. I found out what THQ stands for, or what it stood for. It was the toy, or it was like toy headquarters. We're saying goodbye to THQ.
Yeah.
Apparently, we all knew they were going bankrupt. We were hoping they would figure something out. They wanted to sell the company so that the THQ would be sold to someone and it would stay together. But the creditors and the judge said no. They felt that the company was worth more as a series of parts than it was as a whole. So, the great legend of company that I love is dying and EA still exists. I'm taking this moment to flip the bird.
how is this a just world?
Exactly.
Can I also take a moment just to say thankfully, South Park Stick of Truth got bought out and is being carried on and still going to be released. Thank you.
This is a horrible situation, but most of their stuff has been bought, which is a good thing for the gaming industry. And we've been doomsaying for a while, saying that we feel that there is a crash coming, and that the big giants in gaming are going to be the ones who are most affected. This might be the start of a trend. If it is, I will not be glad to tell you I told you so.
Well, I think the thing is there will be a few places that'll still stand. Those places, I hate to say it, are probably going to be Activision, EA.
Yeah.
Places like Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. I mean, not that I hate those three, but I'm just saying that you're still going to see Activision, EA.
A lot of, you'll probably see a lot of Microsoft's theoretically third-party companies that they employ, but they're technically first-party because they're basically Microsoft owns them or has contracts with them that are permanent.
Like 343.
Like 343, I think technically Epic Games qualifies on some of their stuff with that, so I think Epic would survive if there was a giant
I don't think
gaming
Epic
industry
will ever
holocaust. Yeah, Epic,
because they made Gears of War. They're sitting comfortable on there.
Well,
they could sell their solid
Gears
gold
of War,
yachts.
and they made the Unreal Engine, and the Unreal Engine makes up so many games and so much for indie developers that it's huge.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They pretty much develop gaming engines, and that's going to keep them afloat.
Yeah, if I said if there were two companies I said aren't going anywhere, it would be them, Epic, because of the Unreal Engine, and Valve because of Steam and the Source Engine. Those two companies are not going anywhere. I could actually put
Valve.
every other country possible on the chopping block except for most likely Nintendo.
Because here's the thing, just to add in a thing on why Steam will stay afloat, Portal. Keep shoving Portal games at me and Left 4 Dead games, and I will just keep buying.
Or
And
just
the thing-
breaking
I
the
will
Steam
keep
sales.
buying.
Yeah.
Oh
And
god,
the
the
thing
Steam sales.
and the thing with Valve is that they make quality sequels.
Hmm. Um, Speaking now of everyone wants to hear that their favorite game got bought, so let's figure out where or what's going where. Crytek, the owners of the Crysis franchise and the Far Cry franchise, now have the Homefront franchise. So that's going to a good home because Crytek makes good games.
Yeah, it's
Oh
good.
yeah.
Now here's the sad one. Relic Entertainment, the makers of several good series, including the Warhammer franchise, has been bought by Sega.
Hold on. Hold on. I need a moment and a box of tissues.
I don't think this means that they're going to start making bad games, but they're owned by Sega now, and that sucks. Until Sega issues a formal apology, that sucks. As Felicity mentioned, we're cutting that out. South Park, the Stick of Truth, has been sold to
Yay!
Ubisoft.
Yay!
Oh, that's
I
good. That's
like
good. There we go.
Yeah, and it's the thing that, like, the reason why I'm so excited about South Park is because, okay, it's South Park. It's hilarious. There's tons of dick jokes. It makes me laugh. And it's the thing that it's supposed to be an RPG that's involved around the kids LARPing. Like, that
Yeah.
is the best basis for a game
That was
based
one of
around
my favorite
on South
episodes as a
Park.
kid.
Exactly. I'm like, this is the best idea ever. Like,
And-
everybody at work is stoked for it. Everybody has it pre-ordered at various places, and we're like, we're all gonna play this together. It's gonna be awesome.
And not only that, but you also have the fact that it's going to fucking Ubisoft. Holy crap, Ubisoft! Where are you coming from? You're becoming a galactical giant at this point. I mean, you've got you've got Underdogs that's coming out possibly this year. You've got Assassin's
Underdogs?
Creed.
I was gonna say, you have
Underdog,
this,
Watch
you have this
Dogs.
small, you have this very, very small, tiny, barely anyone knows about it series called Assassin's Creed. Like, I don't know if any of you remember it.
Yeah, I mean, there's that little thing called Assassin's Creed. I was getting to that actually. You got that little thing there. You've got Assassin's Creed, and you've just got this
Prince
you've
of
got Rayman,
Persia.
Prince
yeah.
of Persia, Rayman. You've got an avalanche now. It's just like, hello, Ubisoft.
Yep. They'll probably easily take up the position where THQ used to stand.
Well, they were already pretty stronger, already stronger, I think, than THQ as far as where they were standing position wise.
I don't know. There's one situation, or this next one I think is the one that I think made THQ the real powerhouse, because at least rivaling Rockstar, and that is Metro. Is not the one, but Metro and the Volition studio has been bought by a German company known as Koch Media. Volition, of course, is the company that made the Saints Row games.
Yeah, but those never sold very well.
Saints Row 3 sold excellently.
I was going to say Saints Row 3 is kind of a big deal.
When you're,
Saints
when,
Row
when,
3
when you were
revived people's interest in the entire series.
Yeah.
Because
I'm going to continue hitting my hand against the thing until I can
buzzer.
speak.
beep, 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 beep,
Yes.
beep, beep, beep.
When you're comparing it, because you're going that basically comparable to Rockstar, but when you're comparing it to Rockstar, it does not hold a candle.
I would say not with 2, but I'm going to say yes with Saints Row 3. They sold as many, if not more, copies than Grand Theft Auto 4 because the word of mouth on Saints Row 3 was huge. People
Yeah.
really liked the game. That's what Grand Theft Auto 4 never had. They probably lost a lot of sales on people who heard bad things. And I'm going to be one of the people. It's not a bad game, but it is not Rockstar's best.
Yeah, it's one of those things to where I tried borrowing it from a friend. I played a little bit of it, and I went, no.
Mm.
Just
Um,
no.
So yeah, I expect Koch Media. I expect good things out of this franchise. It's good. Don't mess it up. Oh, and this one hasn't been set in stone, but Platinum Games, the makers of Bayonetta and the forthcoming Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, has expressed interest in buying the Darksiders franchise.
Yeah, I did see the
Hmm.
tweet on that, and it was just okay. Let's see if that even comes of anything. If Platinum Games doesn't buy it, the other company I could see picking it up because Darksiders has such a heavy presence and draws a lot of influence from it. I could see possibly Nintendo going, we'll take that.
Actually, that's what I was going to say. That I'd be like, Nintendo would be a good one to take that and hand it over to the Zelda team and say, when you're not working on Zelda, you're working on this.
Yeah, and not only that, it would just be like, okay, here, we can take this, we can make it mature, we can grab that mature audience that people have been saying that we haven't had, and be to where let's make it bloody and gory as it's been, and just draw in that audience and mesmerize the fuck out of them when we pull them in.
And as you have both Zelda and Darksiders team working on it, you'll probably start to see influences between the two on both.
Well, that's what the reason I say give it to the Zelda team is Darksiders 1 has been, and I'm not unfavorably, this is actually a compliment to it. Darksiders 1 is a Zelda game, just a dark and gritty Zelda game.
Yes, I will agree with that because I have played Darksiders 1.
So they would probably be the
yes.
best team to hand it over to. Give them
And
the,
here's oh
all
sorry.
the stuff. Give them all the stuff, and the Zelda team could probably do more with this than the original team did.
And here's the thing with Darksiders is whoever gets it and works with that and whatnot, there's only, if they're going the way of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, there's only 2 more games they could go that would seem logical. Maybe 3 if you did a combination one where you could play as all 4 of them and you went the way
Four
of some
Swords
things.
Adventure, the Darksiders version.
Oh Lord. But it's like, but you have the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse in one game, and it's kind of like how they did with Resident Evil 6, for example. They have 3 main characters, 3 different campaigns where they kind of somewhat cross over here and there. Same thing with the new Grand Theft Auto 5 when it comes out. There's 3 main characters, their storylines cross over here and there, but they're all separate missions and whatnot. So they could do something like that. So I'm thinking if they continue with that, there's going to be at most maybe 3 more games for that series before it's beating a dead horse type situation.
Here's the thing.
Call of
If
Duty.
you played Darksiders
Sorry, I had to
1,
clear my
then
throat.
War is the type of person to beat a dead horse.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, though. They, in the little rumbles from this whole situation that just came up out of THQ, there were rumbles that the 3rd game was going to be the 4-player co-op with all 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So I'm thinking, yes, give me. I want to play my famine, damn it.
What would famine do? Just walk around making people hungry?
I don't know, actually.
You
because
want a cheeseburger?
Yeah, I'm
Or
looking.
drain the life expectancy from people.
Yeah, I'm sad to see THQ gone, but at least their games are going to good homes. Relic Entertainment notwithstanding.
Also, there's a few. I know Ubisoft Montreal bought something up there in Canada, and kind of like they kept that team together. And
That was they bought the studio that's making the Stick of Truth, so they got all of that. I just said Stick of Truth because I can't think of anything else they made, and I didn't feel like looking it up.
Okay, that's fine though, because it's just one of those things where. Oh,
Welcome to the No Research Podcast.
Ha 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 ha.
Hey, this time you can't blame me for changing the name.
All right, that has been us for the week. If you like it or have a dissenting opinion, give us a comment. We are looking for your input. We want it. In fact, if your comment's good, we'll read it. If your comment's bad, we'll mock it.
In fact, it's excessively so. And now, if you
Say
excuse
goodbye,
us,
Eddie.
What? I didn't even say anything. What?